Hello again, everyone, and welcome again to Union University basketball. It's an earlier start time than usual today and tip off at 1 o'clock as the Lady Bulldogs are taking on one of the nation's top teams in Division II women's basketball. That's Central Missouri. And Mark, this looks like one that could be an absolute dandy because I've taken a look at what this team brings to the table. You got four players in double figures. They're strong from outside. They're good in the paint. They seem to have all the weapons.
I think we do. I mean, Samaria Thompson will be able to play this weekend as well. So it's just we're a very deep team trying to figure out lineups and substitution patterns and roles is kind of where we are right now. I think potentially this is one of the better offensive teams we've ever had. But at the same time, we got a lot to be able to do. And so the reason we have this schedule is to find out a little bit about ourselves early. And so this is the second of 4 games in a row against ranked teams. And so I think it's going to be important for us to really be focused and not concerned with really outcome as much as we are learning a lot about ourselves so that we don't have any regrets later in the year.
I remember you 20 years ago in your office one day telling me about the fact that I'll not fill in the blank of name of team. You said, I don't want to play teams early in the season before the conference race that can't help us. And
That's right.
No question about it. And looking at this team, you got a young lady named Nidja Collier, who is just absolutely outstanding in all of her categories. Brooke Littrell, averaging 18.4 a game. You've got the Collier girl is averaging more than 19, 4 players in double figures. This team is going to give you everything that you're asking for today.
Yeah, I have no doubt this is one of those teams that's going to be in the Elite Eight coming March. And so they have a really elite point guard. I think she's really good. Maybe none better in the country than her. They have a very versatile 5, maybe the most versatile 5 in the country. Somebody can shoot threes, somebody can drive on the off the bounce, and somebody obviously that is a good person in the paint. So, and then they have somebody who's really hard to guard in Littrell, who's 6'2", can shoot a little bit, go off the bounce, really good in transition, can post us up. And Dave does a really good job of putting us in situations where we have to guard multiple people who can post. And I'm not sure we'll play anybody outside of Delta that does that in our league. And so, it's just a great way for us to be able to guard somebody a little different, be aware of some things that maybe we weren't aware of. And Slifer does such a good job of coaching that group. He's one of those guys that's been around a long time, and he gets better and better at each year that he's coaching. And so, like I said 20 years ago, our goal is to be aware in November so that we know who we are, what we need to improve on. And if we're going to lose games, I want to lose games to great teams and that make us aware of things. And so I don't go into Saturday's game thinking we're going to lose, but I also very uncomfortable with where we are as a team right now and playing the quality of teams we're playing right now as well.
Tell us what you took away from the crossover classic that you played down in Florida. You split 2 games. You had a fairly easy time with Florida Tech, and then you ran on Saturday into, again, a team with Tampa that has given us problems in the past in the South Regionals. And it was, again, a very difficult contest on Saturday afternoon. What did you take away from that?
Yeah, a lot of things. And, we didn't shoot the ball very well from 3. And we weren't ready to play right from the very beginning. They ran a dribble weave that we really struggled to guard. And I think one of the things that needs to be who we are this year is that we, on nights that we don't shoot the ball very well, be dependent upon who we are defensively, because we have the personnel to be a great defensive team. And so they expose us because they're big, they're athletic, they're really good at every position. And but I will say this, we played a team last week that's not very deep, probably plays 7. We're going to play Central Missouri, who doesn't want to play more than 5. And so that's not our problem. We might be too deep, and we've just got to figure that out. And the team we played last week in Tampa and the team we play tomorrow are veteran teams. Central Missouri's in the Final Four last year. Their majority of their really good players are back. And so we have 7 new ones trying to figure it out. And so I love where we are right now. I think that if we're going to preach journey, and not results, this front of this year really is a picture of what we want to be the most important thing, is us getting better as the journey goes along.
One of the things you talked about in one of our earlier interviews, and you've said this off and on during the course of the time I've known you, is that not only just on a personal basis, but on the court, some of these early games you like to play because it places your team in a position of discomfort because they're seeing things they haven't seen before. Explain for the viewer at home who may be a casual fan why that is important.
Well, I mean, I think the casual fan or the person who doesn't even know about sports realizes the times they've been stretched are the times they grow. You find out a little bit about yourself. I think I read a quote to them earlier this week about Einstein is when adversity hits, we're introduced to ourselves. And I think that's true in life. And so the times when I've been stretched are my parents really making me responsible, holding me responsible, keeping me accountable. Sports has done that same thing. It kind of hits you right in the face when you don't do your job and you don't execute. I mean, as a husband, as a father, I think I'm confronted with those things all the time. And so I think those people who are great at anything want confrontation. They want to be aware so that they can be, that exposure is not comfortable, but when they're aware, they have an opportunity to prepare to be better. And our goal is to execute, and we want to be able to execute against the best teams. And so why not play those teams that force us to be really uncomfortable in our execution process?
Last thing, summarize for us the keys to the game today.
Yeah, I think most physicality is going to be really important. Us making sure that we don't get mismatched in the post as much by being able to help a lot more and then be able to stop them in transition and us being ready. I mean, just to be able to execute offensively. I think we have plenty of players that can make plays. So the patience to be able to do that. And there's going to be some tough times in the game. How we handle that with boys is going to be really important. And so, like I said, I think we're going to be confronted with a lot, and it's going to be a good thing. I look forward to playing Dave's team because he does a great job, and he's going to prepare us to be better.
Mark, we wish you a lot of success today on the floor, and we'll be talking to you periodically during the course of the game today. And so let's go down to the floor for the starting lineups of today's game between the Lady Bulldogs and Central Missouri.
And welcome everyone live to Fred DeLay Gymnasium. Maybe more like a few interested friends and family members here today, but here are your starters. For Central Missouri, the University of Central Missouri, the Jennies. And all five of these young ladies, trust me, they are capable of taking control of a game. That's how good they are. They're ranked number 4 in one of the national Division II polls and number 6 in the other. Olivia Nelson, she's a 5'7" redshirt freshman from Kansas City. And trust me, she has the ability to score from anywhere on the floor. Cade Hackerott. She's a 5'11" freshman from Goddard, Kansas. Note the ones I'm talking about, freshmen and redshirt freshmen, because they are loaded with young talent that is performing. And then a 5'11" freshman from Lincoln, Nebraska, Charlie Bovard. Number 24, a 6-foot senior from Roseville, Michigan, and she's also a community college transfer from Kansas City, and that is Nija Collier. Actually, it's pronounced Nija. I'm going to get that straight. I've been trying to work through this throughout the course of the last 24 hours. It's Nija Collier. And then Brooke Littrell, and trust me, this is going to be one of the best players you see on this floor for the entire season. Brooke Littrell is a 6'2" freshman from Greene County, Missouri. And so just listen at all of these freshmen. Nija Collier is a senior. But so many young players on this University of Central Missouri, and Dave Sliffer does just a fabulous job of coaching. That's why they are a top 5 team in America. And so you're going to see the Lady Bulldogs with one of the biggest challenges that they have ever had on this floor. Now let's look at the Lady Bulldogs starters for this afternoon. And this is the usual cast of characters. Shanique Lucas, the 5'8" junior guard from New Guinea. She had a very, very good Classic last weekend down in Florida, the Crossover Classic, in which the Lady Bulldogs split two between Florida Tech and Tampa. Ashton Baker, and you're going to meet her up close and personal at halftime. We'll also be hearing some other comments from her during the second half of today's game. Ashton Baker, she's a transfer from Liberty University, graduate student, and you're going to, from Nesbitt, Mississippi, you're going to enjoy this young lady. Jalencia Williams, the 6'2 senior, is from Indianapolis. She was a transfer from Purdue Fort Wayne, and she is the kind that if she gets control of the game, and there's going to be a big showdown between her and Brooke Littrell today. This is a big confidence builder probably for Jalencia if she does well. And then Bethany Dillard, the 5'10 freshman from Maumelle, Arkansas, went to Central Arkansas Christian High School. And then Emily Beard Dunnigan. Emily is a 5'4 graduate student from Dixon, Tennessee, just up the road. And Emily, she's the kind that can just, if she gets hot, she can rip off those three-pointers from anywhere on the floor. And that is the way the starting lineups look for today. Now, Union is coming in with a record 1-1 after last week's split with Florida Tech and Tampa. Tampa just seems to always have had Union's number. A few years back here on this floor, eliminated the Lady Bulldogs in the first night of the NCAA South Regionals. And it was a tough one. They got behind in the first half and could not overcome the Tampa team and lost 77-67. But as you heard Mark Campbell talk about in the pregame interview, you just got to examine the fact that he is going to play the toughest competition that he can before he gets into the conference race, because he feels it's the best way to prepare his team. He said, you don't get better by playing the weak sisters that are out there. You get better by playing the toughest competition that you have. That's been his philosophy all along, and the results certainly have panned out for that. And then you also look over on the other side of the ledger with this Central Missouri team. Don't be fooled by their 3-2 record. Coach Sliffer, he does the same thing as far as putting his team up against the toughest in America. That's one reason he agreed to come in here and play Union on its own floor. That is not something that is very easy to get a lot of people across the country to do. It was true during the NAIA years, and it's definitely true here, that it is a very difficult thing to get some of the top teams in the country to come in here. But Coach Sliffer, and you heard Mark talk about how much he admires the way he coaches his team, does it the right way, and I think you're going to find that this is going to be one of the best women's college basketball games that will be on this floor all season long, because the level of competition is unmatched. And to get a nation's top 5 team to come in here, this is worth your while. So stay with us this afternoon, because a lot of the SEC matchups are going to be duds in football. Let's go down to the floor for the invocation and our national anthem.
Please be advised that the University of South Conference and the NCAA are good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting participants and officials in a positive manner. Preventing racial or sexist comments and other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated, and there are grounds for approval for the second competition. Thank you for your cooperation. At this time, please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the flag of our national anthem. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day you've given us. Thank you for the opportunity to gather here today and enjoy this game that we love. Thank you for these players and coaches for their dedication to sport and basketball. We ask that all of the meet this afternoon with good sportsmanship and be kept free from injury. May all that is done and said here today be your glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
And there you go. And I was not really joking so much about a few interested friends and family members here today because the students are all gone. Full week of Thanksgiving off, and that started with some. I got to tell you, some of them around here, and there's a joke that goes around with the professors that when Union expanded to a full week of Thanksgiving break, that students suddenly found family events or weddings that didn't exist previously that they had to suddenly make a trip to leave campus early. And so the exodus, I think, began as early as last Tuesday. But nonetheless, they're all gone with just a scattered few, including the athletes that are here. And so that's the way it all transpires here on the Union campus. And here come the Lady Bulldogs being introduced onto the floor. And you can see them all just anxious to get out here on the floor. Shanique Lucas first, and then you'll see Ashton Baker come out. I'm really anxious for you to see her interview that we had we visited with Ashton on Thursday, and you're going to be seeing that entire interview. And talks about her family and about after 4 years at Liberty University and then having another year of eligibility because the COVID year did not count, and deciding to go into the transfer portal and winding up at Union, a place she had visited before, particularly in youth basketball camps. And there goes Emily Beard-Dunnigan, and we're about ready to start this thing. So I hope you're going to enjoy it. As I say, most of the Southeastern Conference football, they're going to be duds this afternoon. This is that week where they schedule all of these teams that, to be candid with you, are not among America's best. So have some fun with us this afternoon, and I think you're going to enjoy this because it is undoubtedly one of the best brands of basketball bringing in this Central Missouri team. Young lady right in the center, and now to your left that's about to sit down, that's Shanique Lucas' sister. She is redshirting this year, but she is, I'm told she has got every bit of the talent of her own sister. And she's another one of them from New Guinea. There she is right there on the far left. Now, here we go. The tip goes up, and let the games begin. The Jennies come up with it to start with. They will pound you and pressure you on the inside. The one thing that they are talented at doing are things like that, trying to get the backdoor play and going in for the layup as they did. Now just watch Union try to counter. The key thing for the Lady Bulldog team is not to get rattled because this Central Missouri team does not make a lot of mistakes. They don't have a lot of unforced errors. That's why Mark wanted to have them in here because he wanted this team to see just that one was way too high, and Baker with the offensive rebound. Emily just had that. She couldn't float that well. Williams on the drive, and they could not get it in the 30-second time limit. So ball goes back, first turnover of the game, and it goes back over onto the Jenny side of the ledger. And you got a whistle away from the ball and an offensive foul, so Union picks it back up. That's something that is uncharacteristic when they're not going in for a basket. But as we mentioned, they are double tough both offensively and defensively, so you're going to see a lot of outstanding action so far and throughout this game. Shanique Lucas with the three. So Union out to the first lead of the afternoon at 3-2. Now again, they're going to go to the inside, and this is going to be a one-on-one battle between Collier and Jalencia Williams, and they go after the offensive boards. Just multi-talented team. The back layup, and there's Collier. She is very aggressive going to the basket, and the foul is going to be charged to Bethany Dillard. So going to the line for two is Nidja Collier. And she could be all everything in her conference because she just has so many weapons. And I know that probably sounds like coach speak, but it is really true. She has an enormous amount of talent in just all phases of the game. Trying to give them the lead again. And connects. We'd heard so much about this ball club, and particularly the fact that they have been deep into the national tournament on a number of occasions. There's a fall-away three that's not there for Beard, but look at flying high was Dillard for the offensive rebound. There's one of those dangerous cross-court passes, and that one was hurried by Ashton Baker, but she reaches over and grabs the offensive board pass a little bit too crisp for Shanique Lucas to be able to come up with it. As we say, Lady Bulldogs are facing a defense also like they have not so far in the early going. And the turnaround jumper is there for Brooke Littrell. She has the ability to do that all day, utterly fearless. They're going to go cross court. Now Baker's speed is going to be so important, and the foul. That's the key thing, is that she is lightning quick. I told her we may come up with a nickname for her, and if she keeps that up today, she may have earned it. So it's going to be the basket good and going to the line for the three-point play. Dillard checks out of the game, and coming in, and I'm trying to see who has checked in for the Lady Bulldogs. Might be Sadie Nee. And Ashton ties it up at 6. Her parents try to make it, now that she's closer to home, which is in Mississippi, they try to make it to as many of the games as they possibly can. Watch that battle underneath. They're double teaming inside on Collier. This team will play usually. The long bomb is there, and it's a 9-6 lead. Littrell once again. She goes inside and outside, and as Mark Campbell will tell you, this is a team that will play. A lot of times, if Coach Slipher cannot do anything more than that, he will play only 5 players. They are used to being 40-minute women out there on the floor. Lucas in all kinds of trouble. Down to 8 on the shot clock. Driving inside with a left-hand layup. It went up high, but it did not come down. And it's Samaria Thompson going to the line, and Mark Campbell calls over 3 of his backcourt players, and Jalencia Williams is also coming over for at least this first free throw. Samaria Thompson from Dyersburg, Tennessee. She's a junior. A transfer from Rogers State. Connects on both of them to make it a 9-8 game. So it's going about as advertised, because you figure that these two schools are going to be fairly evenly matched all the way through. And going for the bomb from the outside, it's not there, and the rebound coming up quickly down the floor. Tipped away, and it's going to be Union ball. Baker tried to get it quickly down the floor to Thompson. Mark Campbell just got really excited about playing this game because he said he likes the way that Coach Slipher coaches and how he handles his team and the talent that they bring. And he said, this is a game that I really hope that makes our players better. And Baker with the long three. It is there. And Union takes the lead 11-9. Baker is having herself an afternoon so far. And underneath, they lose it. That's the second turnover of the afternoon for the Jennies. So Lucas to toss it in. And once again, it is this is a Union team that just has to play without being rattled. against, and there you go, backdoor play, and it goes. Give and go to Baker, assist to Williams. And as I say, Ashton Baker is taking it to them. Her experience is really showing, and on the drive-in, Samaria Thompson commits the foul, favoring that knee just a little bit. And for Union, that is the second team foul. 3 fouls committed by Central Missouri. Oh, they are leaving her wide open for a high arcing 3, and Union got away with one. And on the back door, and that is great concentration by Littrell. So far, this is shaping up as a battle between Littrell and Ashton Baker. And that might continue throughout the afternoon. There's Lucas. Union with 10 on the shot clock. And on the drive, Thompson saw a ticket down the right-hand side of the lane. There's the big bomb. Yes! You cannot leave Nyjah Collier, you cannot leave her open for that long. I mean, that was a full 3 seconds she had to set up out there behind the arc. And she will burn you on the corners. Union slows the tempo a bit. Lucas is trying to, that was one. You're just not really getting a good look at a basket. She was trying to fire up what almost looked like a desperation shot. And quickly down. Nice block. Excellent job by Jalencia Williams to regain control after the block. Baker was calling for it over on the right-hand side. That was a little bit of indecision on the part of Thompson. As we get down, the big 3 is short for Lucas. And again, this team is all over the boards. And they again leave Collier wide open. That time she had a little bit of iron unkind. And you may hear Mark Campbell down below me giving the instructions, and you can hear him a lot more today because there are fewer fans in the place. Baker gets the screen, the quick basket, the quick release that she has. What an afternoon already for Ashton Baker. 17-14, Bulldogs by 3. This has really been a good brand of basketball, and it goes off the foot of Littrell. That is not characteristic of her. We got timeout. We had an opportunity to talk to Mark Campbell about a lot of aspects of where the Lady Bulldogs are at this season before tonight's game. Let's hear what he said about one of them.
Well, I mean, for us, it's interchangeable. I think when we talk about the difference, usually our better athlete, we would say more versatile player is the 3. But for us, it doesn't matter. Those 2 people are interchangeable. They'll be on each wing. And then we'd switch 1 through 3 or 1 through 4. So it doesn't matter. We don't have matchups before the game, like on Hoosiers, who you're guarding this person. I want to know what flavor gum they have. We're guarding a variety of people, and you need to be aware of scouting report. If they play 9 people, you're going to have to be aware of 6 or 7 of them and what they do well.
Yeah, with 3:02 to go in the first quarter, Union with the lead 17-14. But you got to believe that this is one of these that could go down to the wire all the way across the board, because these 2 teams are so loaded with talent, and that's the kind that we really love when it comes to this. That you bring a team in like Central Missouri, and this is comparable back the way it was in the NAIA years when you would bring in Southern Nazarene, Oklahoma City to the old Rotary Classic that was played around this time of year. You really knew at that point that you were giving your team the best in competition that they could possibly face during the course of the season. And so far, this has been everything that has been advertised. Littrell with 9 in the game so far to lead Central Missouri. That one goes off the mark, and Collier the rebound. She'll be all over those boards. On the Union side, Baker with 10 of Union's 17 points. And the bomb for the three is not there for Littrell. But don't say it was because she didn't have the range. It was right there. Open for the three is Beard, and it goes short. We'll waver back in two between calling her Beard and Dunnigan because she got married since last season. And the foul. And that one is charged to, and I'm trying to see, it looks like he charged it to Beard. And it hasn't been marked up on the scoreboard yet. It's charged to Bailey Augustine, who's in the game now. Bailey. And you had some fans that were looking for a call from the officials that it just simply wasn't there. Beard comes down with a rebound. Union spreads out the offense again. Mark's got Anna McCready in there to get some experience against this very tough team. She's the freshman from Fayetteville, Arkansas. And he said he was going to play a lot of players today. They got to hurry. The big bomb from outside is there for Emily Dunnigan. And Union with its largest lead now at 20-14. Now, again, they stay very, very patient just because they're down 6. And Collier forces it, and she is the kind that will drive in on anybody and create the foul. Anna McCready commits the foul. She went to Shiloh Christian School. And they'll get Jalencia Williams right back in. Anna McCready came in just to give Jalencia a bit of a rest. As we say, Coach Sliffer, he will go with 5 players if he can, but usually maximum of 7. And that's what another thing Mark Campbell was talking about today is that he wanted his team to have an opportunity to see a team that had such confidence in its starting 5 that if he felt like his opposing coach felt like going all the way with them, that he would. And they would be facing that kind of talent all throughout the game. And checking back in here, coming out is Beard Dunnigan, and checking back in is Samaria Thompson, and she's going to run the point. Giving Shanique Lucas over on the wing now. Baker is out for a bit of a rest. On the inside, Williams is behind everyone, and the foul. If they can just get that high lob close enough to the glass, and then Jalencia can drop it in. And the one good thing that she has demonstrated, Mark's had some post players in the past that love to try to kill it off the glass. She puts it up softly. And Jalencia could not get the free throw to drop, and they lose it out of bounds. Oh, what a frustration for Brooke Littrell. That's just one of those that you got to shake it off and forget it and move on. Young lady that's that talented, you say, well, how does that happen? And look, that's going to happen from time to time. I don't care how talented you are. Brooke's going to burn some more from the corners today. You got to know that. All right, Williams is way back out front. Thompson against 3 defenders, and let's see what the call is. It is an offensive foul. Thompson just simply could not control her momentum. Mark wasn't crazy about the call, but they said she could not control her momentum. And she is charged with the foul, and for Samaria, that is her second. And let's see how Coach Sliffer plays it. Around the horn and the 3. I told you. Littrell just shook that error down at the opposite end off, and she killed them from the key. And it's back to a 4-point Union lead. And Littrell is eating them up from outside. Sadie Nee is in there. She's coming in at number 3. From the corner, the 3 is there for Bailey Augustine. And the freshman connects, and Union back on top by 7. This has been a high-scoring first quarter. A little bit too much from the corner, and Baker, who's back in, and they go for the big bomb down the floor. As much as Shanique Lucas has the ability to fire a pass like that, it just simply was not enough on it. And Union's on top, 25-18 at the end of the first quarter. Let's hear some more from Mark Campbell about what he really is expecting from not only this game, but throughout the course of the season with the Lady Bulldogs.
I think just if a team really gets on a run and starts executing in a way that there's a lot of flow, I think you can disrupt flow by changing defenses. I think that's really important to be able to do that. I don't do the best job of that all the time because I want to play man. But the other thing is you can protect some people from foul trouble because they're not, say we have guards that are matched up on people that are posting, like against Central Missouri, and we get in foul trouble. We don't want those guards guarding in the post, and therefore if we go zone, our 5 guards the post on ball side every single time. And so it protects people. It disrupts flow. If teams aren't great shooting teams, then we can pack it in a little bit and prevent them from getting in the paint.
There you go. This young fella over here that's got the cap on, you just love it whenever they come to the game and they get a lot of interest involved with this. For the Bulldogs, Ashton Baker is the leader with 10 points. She's got a 3. She has 4 from 5 from the floor and also has picked up 4 rebounds. This little 5'5" girl is such a speedy player that you just a lot of times don't recognize that she's going to be back out there and grab a rebound, snatch it right away from you. And you can count on her for offensive boards as well. And once again, they go, and wide open for the layup is Shanique Lucas. That's what they were looking for, is that down-the-lane play. That's money in the bank for the Lady Bulldogs, literal with it. 9-point lead for Union is the largest of the game, and snatching it away was Sadie Nee. So Union aggressively playing defense as well as having a terrific afternoon from the floor, 59%. And let's see if there is, well, they're going to have some substitutions come in. I'm not sure what the stoppage was, but Sadie's going to toss it in for Union. And here we go. Sadie needs a cutter bad. Nobody's getting her room because the defense is shutting it off. 16 on the shot clock. Now Baker's going to try to set it up. Ashton goes high in the corner. She's got strength. And they go inside and hemmed up, and trying to get between those defenders again is Jalencia Williams. And she finally did and drew the foul. So Jalencia going to the line for 2. She has, and I'm trying not to do announcer's jinx. And it looks as though they're going to say she was not in the act of shooting. She had not brought the ball up, so Union will play it underneath with a new 20 seconds. And here's Baker again. She works one-on-one, and the fall away is, she was robbed, but Williams the rebound. And an opening for a 3, yes! Bethany Dillard. Bethany with her first 3 of the game, and Union up by 11. And timeout is called by Central Missouri. And you can absolutely expect that that was what was going to happen. So here we go. Lady Bulldogs on top by 11. And let's hear again some more from Mark Campbell, particularly about the different phases of the game that he tries to teach with these Lady Bulldogs. And one of the things we've been asking him about is the fact that the game shifted several years ago from 20-minute halves to quarters.
Well, I mean, I love teaching, and I love the idea. Most people, I'm not saying this is correct, love the idea of having a new day when they wake up in the morning. It's the thing that changes their mood when actually the day before they actually should have been able to change their mood before the day ended. But they love being able to have a new day. I think the quarter does the same thing. It allows us to forget really easily what happened last quarter, have a chance to be renewed a little bit, mindset-wise, and be able to start over, to evaluate each quarter on its own for 10 minutes. And so I think that's good. I think the rest is good. to be able to teach as a coach, to be able to reevaluate instead of only doing it once during the game, you end up being able to do it 3 times.
And more of the fans here at the Fred on a Saturday afternoon. Brooke Littrell is the leader for Central Missouri with 12, and Nyjah Collier with 6, but nobody else has contributed. And this is a team that has 4 players averaging in double figures. They need some more help to be able to stop some of this first half momentum that the Lady Bulldogs have developed, leading 29-18. A lot of respect between these two coaches for each other and for their teams. Beautiful screen, open, wide open for the 3 is Claire Maxson. Pardon me, that's Charlie Bouvard from Lincoln, Nebraska. I was looking on the opposite end of my sheet. Charlie with her first 3 to close it down to 8. This team can rip off a series of 3s, and I can guarantee you they would be in awe. And Baker's standing there wide open, and nobody sees her until now. And they say Shanique Lucas took a step before she went in for the dribble, and so the Lady Bulldogs commit the turnover. So for Union in the game, that is turnover number 5. And let's see how Central Missouri plays it. That one was too long, and frankly, probably Shanique should have let that one completely go because it was headed out of bounds. It was out of the range of Littrell. So a new 20 for Central Missouri with 7:47 remaining in the first half. And Olivia Nelson getting set to toss it in. And again, getting a little quieter in the place. High arcing 3 that was just not there and scrambling. This is going to be a scrum, and it's a jump ball, and alternate possession will go back again to Central Missouri. So there is 9 on the shot clock. You don't have a reset. They had to bring out the Union logo curling mop to try to get some of that moisture up off the floor. Both of these coaches do such a brilliant job in recruiting, and they've made excellent use of the transfer portal as well as to bring in young women who have, and that one just goes nowhere, and the rebound coming off to Bethany Dillard. And back down at the opposite end, Union will play it. And you may be hearing Mark shouting some instructions. He's going to change the play at this point. Dillard will check out, and Bailey Augustine coming back in for Union. Baker's going to take it back about 35 feet beyond the goal. And the turnaround, Lucas. She's not usually in the paint for her baskets unless she's got a driving layup, but she makes it a 10-point game once again. They go inside to Collier. Nice opportunity at a 3, and here goes once again trying to get it back the other way, and they do. They went left, it didn't work, but that time it was Bouvard that connects. And they have nudged an 11-point lead down to 7. They've matched a couple of 3-for-2 exchanges. And tough defense trying to get out from that corner for the 3. No. Iron unkind for Emily Dunnigan. And that is going to go against Baker, and you can hear the groans from the locals because Ashton, I know they felt like she had position, but Ashton is going to get charged with her first foul of the afternoon. I think she caught it in the eye just a bit. As I mentioned, she's our featured player of the week, and you will be hearing from her at halftime. No TV basketball next week. Both the men and women are going to be on the road for Union. And driving in, Collier draws the foul, and it's on Jalencia Williams, and that will be her first. That schedule is going to, this week, take the Lady Bulldogs to Springfield, Missouri for a classic against Truman State and Drury. And those will be on Tuesday and Wednesday night. Our next telecast will be on Monday night, the 29th, when Brescia comes to town for a non-conference game. Of course, Brescia, one of the old NAIA rivals of Union, particularly at the national level. So the lead has been sliced to 6. That's the way this Central Missouri team is. They do not panic when they get down in double digits. And they lob it into Williams, and she had just enough reach over her defenders to drop it in. And Jalencia is now with 4 on the afternoon. She's had a couple of those high drop-ins. Working back around the perimeter again. 10 on the shot clock for the Jennies. Nice handling of the basketball by Nelson. And they go outside for the 3, and it is there. Bovaird has a very hot hand right now, and she has 9, all of them 3-pointers. And the lead is down to 5 for the Lady Bulldogs. It's just slowly being shaved, and so Union has to be very tough on offense to continue to match cards. And going for the 3 in the corner, and the iron was unkind for Bethany Dillard. Union has had the range from long distance, but 4 out of 10 for 40% this afternoon. And trying to go for the big one, not there, and Williams with another rebound. Baker in traffic. And not getting the Plinko drop was Emily Beard. So once again, the Jennies slow the tempo, but they love to work for the screen. 15 on the shot clock. And from inside the arc, not there, and the rebound coming off to Lucas. Open for the 3 again. Dunnigan cannot get it to fall. Emily has had the range on 2 out of the last 3 possessions, but it's just not wanting to fall. And again, working the perimeter. And away from the basketball, and the offensive foul is called on Nyjah Collier. She's the experience on this team, the senior. So Union will play it underneath with 3:53 remaining in this second quarter. Dillard's going to toss it in. Sadie Nee back in the game for Union. She was one that on this floor last year in the South Regionals dropped in a dramatic shot as the 3 goes up again, and that time it is there for Bethany Dillard. And Bethany now with 5. Back to the 8-point lead. Sadie Nee hit that dramatic shot to defeat Montevallo and knock them out of the playoffs, and it was a come-from-behind shot for the Lady Bulldogs, and trying to fire it inside to Littrell, and it just goes too far. Lady Bulldogs 54% from the floor at 14 of 26. And Union has held its composure in this game. They had some real whacks early on, and they had to figure out what this Central Missouri looks like they're going to a 2-3 zone now, trying to change it up. And it is Baker. Baker is the answer to the zone. And Union back on top by 11. Ashton with 13. She is the game leader. And that one was one that, taking a big spill and just not there to collect the pass, was Cade Hackerott. She's the freshman from Goddard, Kansas, and so Union with the possession. say a big hello to all the parents from both of these fine schools, because we're so delighted to be able to bring this streaming telecast to you. And I know a lot of times it's not possible for you to make the journey to see your kids in person. And so thank you for all you've done to be a support mechanism for all of your young ladies who are participating in the game today. But welcome to the telecast. And the big bomb from the corner is just short for Littrell. But I tell you, Brooks and that was one of those that Sadie, trying to save it, kicked it right back into the hands. And on the drive, the foul is committed against Hackerott, and that one's charged to Bethany Dillard. And Bethany commits her second. So she'll check out. And coming back in is Bailey Augustine, the freshman from Black Rock, Arkansas. A new 20 on the clock for the Jennies. And a high left-handed arc that just does not fall, but that's one of the smart things a player like Littrell does. She sensed the defenders crashing in and released that ball to get a two-shot foul opportunity. We've seen that so often over the years, and this is one of the things that many players have told us they were taught as early as middle school, that if you hear those footsteps coming behind you, if you're on a drive, try to get the ball up in the air, because you're more than likely going to get a two-shot opportunity. And so Littrell, she heard the footsteps coming and has connected to make it 14 points on the afternoon. And as I say, she has the complete game, 6 rebounds to go with those 14 points. Union by 9, 39-30. And there, Williams, open, had it blocked. And now, they're going to say that she took a step, and you can tell the locals aren't thrilled about that. Big hands coming up for some of the Central Missouri fans who have made it here. And they say just she took that right foot back before she tried to put it up, and they called traveling. Good opportunity to capitalize, and that was off the back of the iron, but Littrell with the follow that doesn't go. And here goes Baker. I can tell you, Ashton is so tempted to just go fly right by Nelson, but she instead thinks better of it and shortens up the delivery pattern. Ashton is a threat at any time on the floor. And on the inside, what a move by Bailey Augustine. That's something that you often only see from juniors or seniors, but she faked the pass and went in for the underneath layup. And a couple of unfortunate three opportunities for Central Missouri. And here goes Lucas on the bicycle. Augustine between two defenders. No call underneath and gets it. Augustine just absolutely was not going to be denied, and Union is up by 13. How about that? And underneath, what a block by Lucas. Lady Bulldogs in the final 30 seconds of this second quarter. Knocked away. Excellent defense by Olivia Nelson, and a steal right back by Baker. Union's got to play it for the final shot. This has been some kind of action here this afternoon. And they're counting it down. You can hear it from the Lady Bulldog bench. Baker dishes out, and they go to Williams, who's open and gets it. That is the textbook way to wind up the final 18 seconds of a half or a quarter. Waiting for the precise moment to get open, Jalencia Williams, and that is exactly what happened. And the Lady Bulldogs are on top by 45-30. We'll have all the scoring totals after we have the upcoming interview, but we'll tell you that the game leader so far is Ashton Baker with 14 and 13 points right now for Brooke Littrell for the Central Missouri Jennies. So we'll give you all the stats and everything else, but we had a wonderful opportunity to visit with a young lady that's new to the union program, but you can already tell by this afternoon, Ashton Baker is just all over the floor. And so we talked to her about her story, her life, and also what led her to come to Union University after a 4-year career at Liberty. So here we go. Let's meet Ashton Baker.
Well, this season on Union University basketball, we're going to be bringing you some special features in which you get to know the players up close and personal. And one of our newcomers to Union Lady Bulldog basketball this year is one who's already making her mark, and that's Ashton Baker. And Ashton, I am so thrilled that you're with us today because I think we're going to have an interesting conversation.
Yes, sir. Me too. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right, Ashton, let's start off by asking you about giving us something that I'm sure you thought of much of your life. What is the Ashton Baker story?
Okay. Well, we want to start where I was born?
Yeah, let's start where you were born and then take us on the journey.
Okay, so I was born in Abilene, Texas. Lived in San Antonio for a little bit. Then we lived in Biloxi, Mississippi for a while. Then after Hurricane Katrina, we moved up towards around Memphis area in like DeSoto County in Mississippi. And so grew up most of my life in the top of Mississippi, right outside Memphis, playing basketball in Memphis and stuff like that. I have 2 sisters, one older, one younger. The younger one's birthday is actually today. She just turned 20. So, and she actually goes to Mississippi College, which is funny. So,
does she play?
She does not. She just goes to school there. But
okay. So she can sit in the stands and get away with rooting for you when you play.
Exactly. And then my older sister, she's at Ole Miss. And then my dad, he works for FedEx. And then my mom just finished occupational therapy school. So there was a time where all the girls last year, we all were in college. All 4 of us.
I'm sure at home there's probably, as much as for a financial reason, a joy that maybe some of that's coming to an end.
Yes, for sure.
Ashton, let me ask you about, before we go into some other things, but you mentioned the devastation of the hurricane. How much did you actually see that, the aftermath and the actual hurricane itself? How much of that did you actually see?
So we evacuated pretty last minute because we had been through, quite a few hurricanes before, boarded up, evacuated. It's a pretty long process and stuff. So my mom didn't want to, and then my dad called her and was like, you need to take the girls and go. And so we did. They wouldn't let us go back and see right away, but so I didn't go back for a few years, but we ended up getting like 9 feet of water in our house. And it shifted the house off the foundation. It was almost, my mom said it like came in, picked everything up, and then just set it back down. Obviously not as nice, but it was, she dealt with a lot. My dad was working for the Air Force at the time. And so my mom dealt with a lot of that and going back and just her, I'm sure I don't remember. I was young. I was very young. I just remember
which you're still young, but
yeah, that's true. But I just remember understanding it was serious, but I don't think not until I got a little bit older to understand the severity of it, of everything that happened and stuff like that.
Well, I know for so many people that we knew that had been through the experience that it's something that takes a while to really be able to emotionally adjust to and really process. Let me shift gears from that into what motivated you? And now a lot of people play basketball on the playgrounds and with their friends at what we used to call recess at school or in PE classes. But what motivated you to play competitive basketball at this level?
Well, I started playing when I was in first grade. It was just you just kind of did it. Everyone was in sports. And then I think my mom told me I was in third grade, and that's when I found out, I guess they would pay you or give you a scholarship to play in college. And I was like, they'll pay you to play? And I was like, I want to do that. And so my mom says I was in third grade, and that's when I wanted to. I mean, I don't remember that, but I'm sure I said it. So it was just from then on, loved it. Joined really competitively, probably 6th or 7th grade, probably 6th. And then from then on, I've just been playing.
Oh, my goodness. And when I saw you in the first exhibition game against UT Southern, and I said, my goodness, she is as fast as anybody I have ever seen us have. And you're talking about a lot of folks. Amy Philemely Flores was one of the greats that we had, we called the Road Runner while she was here. But tell me specifically, when you decided to go to college and play basketball and get that scholarship and do that. Tell us where you were at before Union and then what led you to come here.
Yeah, so I was at Liberty University. I was there 4 years. I really liked it there. I had a great 4 years, a great experience. I went there out of high school, got recruited by them, I guess my junior year of high school. Hadn't heard much about them. Went on a visit. It's gorgeous up there. The mountains. They have very nice facilities. And I actually I had a relationship with Coach Campbell before he recruited me. I went to his camp, I think when I was in 8th grade, maybe 7th or 8th. I came to the Union summer camp. And I remember him saying when I was little, he's like, you could play for me one day. And then,
sounds like Mark.
Yes. And so it's really funny how it all came full circle. I played my 4 years there. And then with the COVID year, them giving the extra, I told my coach I'd play for 4. They wanted me to come back. I really considered it, but I just kind of felt like I was getting complacent, wasn't being pushed as much as I wanted to be. I like to play fast. We didn't necessarily play very fast there all the time. And so that's when I ended up going in the portal and deciding to transfer. And then I get a text from Coach Campbell saying, it's been a long time. How you doing? Love to get on a call. And that was kind of that. I mean, after my first call, I think I talked to him for like an hour for the first time, and I don't even think we really talked about basketball. We were just talking life, and told him a lot about the past 4 years at Liberty and stuff like that. And it was a really cool conversation. And a lot of why I came here is because of who Coach Campbell is and how he runs his program, and just I truly thought he was who he says he is. And I think that's hard to find in college athletics. Yeah.
To wrap things up, to wrap the whole package with all of this, Ashton, give us just really a thumbnail of what your parents have meant to you as far as a support mechanism throughout all of your young life and as a college athlete.
Yeah, I mean, I think family is super important. I think I wouldn't be who I am today, obviously, without them. I've loved just being here and being close has been awesome for me, because I think I was about 10, 11 hours at Liberty, so they couldn't come to a lot. And I've seen them at every game this year so far, so that's been huge. And I think growing up, they always pushed me, just no matter what was going on, just to give my very best, like effort-wise. You can't control a lot of things, but you can control your effort. And I think I only ever got in trouble for that when I was little. If my mom didn't think I was giving everything I had, that's the only time I remember actually getting in trouble during like for sports, and I never made that mistake again. So
it's one thing when the coach says it, but when your mom says it, it's another thing.
Yeah, I was probably middle school or like a freshman in high school, and I didn't make that mistake again.
You're very fortunate if that was the only time you made that mistake.
Well, that I remember. I mean, I might have, but it was that one. It stuck with me for a long time. So,
well, trust me, we're all human, and we make them. At my age, we make them as well. Yeah. And tell me though, who of your siblings and you, who got picked on the most?
Oh gosh, probably the little one, the younger one, us two older ones kind of, I wouldn't say a little bit teamed up, because the little sister just coming in and pestering you and stuff, and you're like, oh, stop, and then we both start going, and so definitely the youngest for sure.
Well, that I've talked to a few other of our Union athletes, and sometimes it's the middle child that gets the brunt of it, but at least you escaped the worst of it, and I think you survived. That's what we've seen. Yeah. Well, I want to tell you, it's been fun to watch you, at least in the one game we've had an opportunity to see you, and now you're going to be taking on, and in fact, since this is halftime, we've already seen what it's like for a half of basketball against one of the nation's top teams in Central Missouri. But Ashton, we are all looking forward to seeing you as the season progresses, and wish you an extraordinary amount of good luck and success in pursuing your career goals after Union.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that very much.
I hope you enjoyed that visit with Ashton Baker, and she's having herself an afternoon. Let's take a look at your halftime statistics. With Union on top 45-30 at halftime. Lady Bulldogs 55% from the floor, 18 of 33. And UCM is 9 out of 26 for 35%. So they just haven't been able to hit from outside or inside with the rapidity as Union. Lady Bulldogs 40%, 6 out of 15 from three-point land. It seems as though they've had more than that, because they've had 3 or 4 that were right on the edge that bounded out. Central Missouri has had the range today, 6 out of 18 for 33%. They've just had some unfortunate luck with the iron. Each team 75% from the free throw line, but Union the big edge in rebounding, 20-13. And the Jennies have made one more turnover than Union. Here's a big key also, points off turnovers, because a big key when you have two powerhouses like this meeting each other, you got to get points off the other's mistakes. 12 points off of turnovers for UCM, and Union with 7. Actually, I gave Paul the wrong totals on that. It should have been flip-flopped. Union 12 points off turnovers and 7 for UCM. So I had them flip-flopped on that thing. Everybody forgive me for that. I need forgiveness today, and that's the most important thing. So let's look at scoring very quickly. Ashton Baker, outside 5 out of 7, 2 for 2 from behind the arc, 13 points to lead Union, 7 points for Bailey Augustine, who's come in here and had a very, very fine game on this afternoon with this early tip-off time. Shanique Lucas with 7 as well. And it is Littrell with 14 and Beauvard with 9, Collier with 7, but they are the only 3 who have scored in the contest for the Jennies. They got to have some extra help. Open, turning around for the 3. It's right there, and Bethany Dillard with 7. So Union starts right out and continues the momentum, 47-30. So often we've seen since the shift to quarters that the third quarter is moving time as the basket goes in for a determined Collier. The third quarter is moving time for teams that want to make a comeback if they're down as this Central Missouri team was by 15 at halftime. So this could be a very critical quarter for them. And Baker, left-handed, goes all the way down the lane, a free ticket, and Ashton with 15. She's now the game leader, 6 out of 8 from the floor today. Boy, what a day for her to be the featured player of the game. And on the inside, that's going to be a foul away from the ball as it was being tossed into the middle, and that's going to be on Baker. That's her second. Not an extraordinary amount of fouls committed by either team in the first half. 15 fouls between the two teams. That is a low total. Littrell trying to drive, and she's continuing to be picked up by Dillard. You heard Mark Campbell talk about, there you go from the back of the paint. That's not a three, but Collier is having herself an afternoon with 11. She and Littrell have 25 of the 34 points of Central Missouri. Lucas, she takes that almost 180 dribble inside, and that one there were just too many defenders trying to get that into Williams. And kicking it all the way down, and the foul is going to be on Lucas because her momentum was carrying her, and Olivia Nelson did a good job on that drive. And Nelson will go to the line for 2. Nelson, the redshirt freshman from Kansas City. She goes 5'7". And that's her first point of the afternoon. And as we say, this Central Missouri team needs some help from some of its outside shooters and make it a 13-point Union lead. It was 15 at halftime. Union got the first basket. And here goes the incredibly fast Lucas. And quick release. The three is there for Dillard. What an afternoon she's having with 10. She's the second Lady Bulldog in double figures. And it's a 16-point lead for Union. Inside it goes, and nowhere to go for Dillard. For Littrell. Dillard was over there, and there were 3 Lady Bulldogs trying to get that ball away and to keep Littrell from getting just a soft layup. So Lady Bulldogs have played tremendous defense in this game. They go inside to Littrell, who had just enough of an opening. Don't give her a half second to get open because she'll turn that thing around on you very quickly. And that's the foul on Nelson. And Nelson wanted an offensive foul called, but no soap on this. And you can see Coach Sliffer is over there on the other side, and he's saying, what was that? We've had a couple of bang-bang plays. Baker's going to toss it in. Union has been very patient with the basketball. We haven't seen a lot of unforced errors. Oh, the iron unkind for Dillard. She's 2 out of 4 from behind the arc. Union is 7 of 17 for the game. Still over 40%. Dillard. That was Littrell. And trying to rush it back down. Lady Bulldogs trying to get a counter and treat that one-shot possession as the equivalent of a turnover. Inside to Williams. She could not make it fall. Had to turn over with the left hand, and she does that very well, but it would not drop. And here's a steal. Here goes Lucas. She's going to take it all the way down. Down the stretch she goes, and it will go back to Union. Lucas wanted that basket so bad. Excellent defense to knock it out of bounds and not commit the foul. You see so many teams that if Lucas gets on a breakaway, that they're in there immediately trying to knock it away and commit the foul. And that's just, again, patient defense on the part and getting back very quickly also on the part of this Central Missouri team. From the corner, the three. Yep, we saw that going a little bit too far right. And the rebound comes off to Littrell. Brooke has 7 rebounds in the contest. And they're inside to Collier, and they're double-teaming her, triple-teaming her, and here's Baker with the steal. 2-on-1. Baker with the flip and the layup, and the excellent job of knocking it away was Hackerott, but she'll be charged with the foul. I got to hand it to Kate Hackerott. She had her hand in the right position, and it would have been an excellent block, but it was considered to be a connection with the body. So on the dish off from Baker, Dillard to the line and connects. Union only went to the free throw line 4 times in the first half. But so far, the Lady Bulldogs are hanging, matching cards here, and actually have extended the lead by 1 in this third quarter with about 6 minutes remaining. But you sense no desperation on the part of Central Missouri. Very patient team. Collier, who can go inside and outside on you, and they go to Littrell. And it's blocked by Williams, but they call the foul, and Williams hands to the head. No, they're going to charge that one to Baker. Now, let me flip back on that. It is Williams. I thought I saw just a 2 coming out, but it's a 12, so it is Williams. And she is charged with a foul against Littrell. I told you this was going to be a tough set during the course of the afternoon, the battle between Williams and Littrell. And Littrell with a chance for 2. And she's just money in the bank. This team, excellent free throw shooting all across the board. 9 of 11 today for 82%. And we saw them gradually slice a lead in the second quarter until Union began to edge it back out and lead 45-30 at halftime. Central Missouri with a 10-9 edge at this point. Bounce pass inside, and that one just goes way too high and out of bounds. Too far underneath was Thompson. And those are the kind of mistakes that Mark Campbell is so well aware of that can begin to turn the tide of momentum, particularly if this Jenny's team manages to convert here. Nelson being driven back. I watched the battle between Collier, and instead they go for the 3, and they don't get the Plinko drop, and Williams gets the rebound and loses it. Jalencia had her 5th board of the day, and this suddenly it just lost control of it, and those are the kind of things and Mark, I can see him down on the knees now. When that happens, you know that he's telling them to get refocused. Collier working against Williams. She's going to try to go in from the right-hand side. Could not force it home, and Williams another rebound and the foul. Baker she's fouled by Nelson on that drive. And that is the 3rd foul on Nelson. She's the first player of the game. Well, Collier also has 3 fouls, so there's 2 players over on Central Missouri that are in at least a mild bit of foul trouble, but I don't think any reason that they'll come out of the game at any particular point right now until somebody gets a 4th one. We're down to under 5 minutes in the third quarter. Been a very quickly played game because they haven't been to the free throw line that often. And open for the 3. Yes! That's Thompson. She has 7. She's made her mark today, and that's just leaving them wide open. And that was Union going to sleep, back down on defense, and Littrell with an easy layup to give her 20. A 57-42 Union lead. Williams is trying to get open on that inside. Baker could not get the layup high enough. She goes 5-5, and she has a great vertical leap, but just with that left hand could not get it far enough over on the glass to bank in. Here on the drive is Nelson, and loses it out of bounds, and they are going to say it was knocked out by Thompson. And we have a media timeout. Well, one of the things we talked to Mark Campbell about also, as we visited with him before today's game, is also looking just long-term with this ball club and some of the things that he really expects from them, and particularly in a game like this. Here's what he had to say.
Well, I think it's just different. I was glad to have a week. We had guys in practice 3 days, and that was big for us to be able to play against some speed, some athleticism, some physicality that we needed to get ready. That I think we actually prepare us better than actually playing a game against most teams. And so we had some really bad practices because they made us look bad. And I think that puts our mindset into a narrowed focus that allows us to be ready to play the game.
And Mark Campbell drawing up some potential plays and also what to do if certain defenses come their way, and that's just the job of a coach. I don't know of anybody I've ever been around who just purely enjoys the teaching aspect of coaching, as does Mark Campbell. I've known this guy since he was a senior in college, when he was he was the point guard in the 1-2 combination between himself and the great John Pierce for Lipscomb University. And that's where they began to learn the plays that Mark has put in for his teams through the years of lobbing that ball into your post player, because that's what he did for John Pierce so often. 15 on the shot clock. Inside, Littrell, left-hand layup. No stopping her. It's a 57-44 game. Littrell, what an afternoon with 22. She's 8 of 14 from the floor. Sadie Nee and Thompson. Not Sadie Thompson. And Thompson gets it. Deceptive the way she moved into that paint and went with the left hand, and Union back on top by 15. And if you're Mark Campbell, the one thing that you're and that one went a little bit too far for Littrell to get because she was double teamed, and actually by two smaller players. And Thompson curls it, has it blocked. Nice job on the block by Hackerott. She's had a couple like that this afternoon. And Hackerott on the drive and did not get the three-point play. She was fouled by McCready. Mark has not hesitated today to bring in some of these players off the bench, and even freshmen. And so checking back in right now is Augustine. So going to the line for two is Hackerott, trying for her first 2 points of the day. She's picked up 3 rebounds, had a couple of block shots, and a couple of steals. As I say, this team, it doesn't matter who's at the free throw line. You can pretty well count it that if we had the metrics that ESPN uses, it's likely it's going in. 11 out of 13 for 85%. Make it 12 of 14 for 86% as they nudge it back to 13 points. It's a 5-possession game, but they are coached very well that if you're going to ease it down, just take it possession by possession. Don't try to carry it all in one hunk. Union a little bit more deliberate on the tempo. What they have to guard against is trying to play not to lose as opposed to doing what has brought them to this point so far in the game. And I don't know where that was going, but what a save it was for Thompson. I don't know where Williams was going with that pass. 5 on the shot clock. They got to hurry. The jumper. And it's iron unkind. And here you go. A chance to really begin to make a big difference. And they say it went out of bounds off the hands last of Littrell. So Union with a big break. You see that far left-hand side of the bleachers empty because, as I mentioned, students have all gone home for Mama's home cooking at Thanksgiving. And they began to pour out of here, a lot of them on Thursday, but particularly yesterday. It was a mass exodus off this campus. Wide open for the three. No! That was one that was right there, and Emily was just robbed. She's had a rough afternoon, 1 out of 7, but I can tell you about 4 others of those were right in the heart, just didn't drop. And they go open for the 3 for Collier. Yes, you knew it the minute it left her hands. And Nyjah with 14, and the lead is now back down to 10. It was once 17 for Union. And they're down to 16 on the shot clock. Almost lost it. Lucas, she has that low center of gravity, and she hung on to it. Now they got to hurry. The kick out. Lucas for the 3. No. Whoa! Almost, but the tip goes through. What a beautiful follow by Augustine. Nobody was expecting her, and you don't see as many tip-ins in women's basketball, but she delivered. And Union badly needed that one. Nelson thought about the 3, and she's fouled by Emily Beard-Dunnigan. Baker's going to check back in after a brief rest. So at the line, Olivia Nelson. She delivered the last time she was there. And if they can keep this thing down to a 10-point margin as we go to the fourth quarter, they still have a lot of options available to them, because that would mean they had sliced the lead down from 15 at halftime. And getting set to check back in is Allie Vigil, the freshman from Kansas City. So many young players on this Central Missouri team. And that was Allie backing up. And Baker's just going to let it roll because they want to have as much time on that clock to execute. Open for the 3. No. And Williams trying to scramble for the rebound. She's double teamed. But goes right through the defenders, and they call her for traveling. And oh my, is this place getting ready to erupt. That was a bang play, and now Central Missouri an opportunity to cut this to a 7-point margin. And remember, at one point, it was 47-30. So they're making their run as you expect the great teams to do. Here's Collier. And Nelson for the 3. It is there. It is a 7-point game at 61-54. Union is losing the momentum. This is a crucial one as a final shot opportunity here in the third quarter. Baker trying to get traffic directed. Shot clock turned off as we're down to 8 seconds. Baker's going to try it herself, and on the inside, the foul. Augustine probably would have had the basket had she not taken it to the floor, but she got the foul from behind. And that was all Ashton Baker directing that traffic to try to get people open. And in there, Augustine in double figures with 10. And Union in and out. Now, they've still got, no, they're going to throw a wild one, and I wouldn't put it past her about being able to get that nailed right down the heart. So Union up by 17 at one point is now only 8 ahead at 62-54 as we get ready to go for the fourth quarter. Well, Ashton Baker told us a lot of things about family and about really the entirety of her career that she spent 4 years at Liberty University before she came here. Let's hear a little bit about her story.
A lot of why I came here is because of who Coach Campbell is and how he runs his program, and just I truly thought he was who he says he is. And I think that's hard to find in college athletics. And I've seen that firsthand. And so I truly believed him. And I mean, ever since I've been here, it's been nothing than what he said it is.
Now, here's one that just has not decided to respond to any of the action on the floor. He probably has fewer cares than anybody in the place. Just look at that. All the noise, all the people that are cheering whenever a basket goes in, doesn't faze him whatsoever. Wouldn't you like for life to be that easy for you? Union on top, 62-54. Lady Bulldogs have cooled down to 49% from the floor, 38% in three-point shots. Both teams 8 of 21. Central Missouri is edged ever closer at 44% from the floor at 16 of 36. And here's a big one. They get the opening possession of the fourth quarter. Nothing would be bigger for this Central Missouri team than to be able to nail down one in this opening possession and close it to as much as 5 points. On the inside to Collier. She's playing with 4 fouls against Williams, who's playing with 3. And 3 seconds in the lane is called on Collier. That is a call that is, I must tell you, you don't see too often in women's basketball anymore. You can go through probably half a season and not see a 3-second call. And that was huge because if the Lady Bulldogs capitalize, you're talking about a 4 or 5 point turnaround. And Collier has to be careful because of those 4 fouls she's playing with. Baker inside to Williams. She had the range and had the time, and Collier could not fend her off with those 4 fouls. Williams with 8, and it's back to a double-digit lead for Union. Nelson was driving the baseline and picked up very quickly and tipped away, and it's going to be Central Missouri ball. You just got to love the way the Jennies just play almost as if nothing is fazing them, regardless of the fact that they have been behind most of this game. Fall away for Collier. What a bank shot over Williams. Perfectly executed. 64-56. Baker again. She's done a terrific job of directing traffic for this Lady Bulldog team this afternoon. Thought about the 3, going to the inside and curling it in. That was just a poorly executed pass, and it's picked off. And now, once again, a chance to close this down to a 5-point margin, and Littrell loses it. Here go the Lady Bulldogs. They have numbers. They're going to have to back off. And that's going to be traveling. Yep. That was one of those where there was some indecision about who to dish off to in this case, and a little bit of a slide of the foot by Augustine. You can't play Dancing with the Stars on this floor, and so it is Central Missouri, again, the opportunity to close it to 5 or 6. They've been slowly pecking away since Union was up 47-30. Collier against Williams and had the screen and has the shot. It is a 6-point lead at 64-58. This is where the wake-up call has to come for the Lady Bulldogs. The Jennies are on the march. And Union playing with a little less confidence than we saw in the first 3 quarters, and Baker takes it in, is fouled. That's the first foul of the fourth quarter. And checking back in is Samaria Thompson. Augustine will come out. Nelson playing with 3 fouls, Collier with 4. For Union, it is Jalencia Williams with 3. Union needs a basket here just to reclaim a bit of momentum. And for the 3. Yes! Emily Beard-Dunnigan at just the right time. She's only 2 of 8 from behind the arc, but that one was huge. 67-58. And these young ladies, so many of them have gone all the way this afternoon. Collier against Williams again. And almost stolen, and it is by Lucas, but it's going to be a scrum. And is it a foul? I believe it is. Lucas. Again, she has the lightning fast hands that can just reach in and scoop a ball away, and that's what happened. And then she succeeded at drawing the foul, and that is going to be the third foul on Hackerott. Each team, Union's committed 14 fouls and Central Missouri 12. And Union, a big possession right here to try to stretch it back to a double-digit lead. Again, trying not to get into too big of a hurry, but looking for the open player. Thompson going to take the baseline. Has it beautifully blocked. Excellent by Hackerott. She took a chance with those 3 fouls, but made it count. And once again, a chance to cut it to 6 or 7 and driving on the inside. An excellent drive to draw the foul. And the foul is charged to Baker. That is her third. Remember, our next telecast will be on Monday night, the 29th, as we'll be hosting Brescia. That wonderful team from Kentucky will be in to take on the Lady Bulldogs. And down the stretch, you just might as well count every time that this team goes to the free throw line, it's going to be there. Olivia Nelson, 5 for 5 today from the line. And she's picked up 5 assists and 2 steals. And so it's back. It's still a 3-possession lead, but only a 7-point margin. Lucas and Baker, again, trying to look for the opening players. Ooh, tempted to put away a long 3 was Thompson. And a foul away from the ball, and that one is going to be charged to Bovaird, only her second. Central Missouri has gone with 7 players all the way through. Mark Campbell has gone with 9. 6:12 remaining, a 7-point margin that was once 17. Thompson gets it into Lucas. Oh, dangerous pass, but Baker high to pick it up. She has got that high vertical leap. Takes it all the way in, the left-hand layup. 17 for Ashton Baker. Back to the 9-point lead as we're under 6 minutes. In traffic, Hackerott throws it right into the hands of Lucas. Union slows it down again. From the corner, no, just a little bit too far to the right with 5:33 remaining. Thompson has had 1 3-pointer today, but that one probably was a little ill-advised, even though she was open. Shave a little more time off before you're trying those big threes. And here goes Nelson. From the corner for the 3. Yes! Bovaird cuts it to 6 at 69-63. Plenty of time to continue to shave this lead down. Baker puts it up. No, not going to get the Plinko drop. Williams scrambling, gets it, takes it to the floor, and is fouled. And this is where you got to hope Jalencia Williams has got a free throw shooting hand. And we'll be back with her free throws right after we hear more from Ashton Baker about what life has been like being a Lady Bulldog in the short time she's been on the Union campus, and also about her parents.
I mean, I think the first week was hard. Well, honestly, it was just really the first day or two, just adjusting. I was a little sad. I was like, I don't know anybody. This is going to be so hard. And then, like, after that first day, the girls have made my experience honestly amazing. I think they invited me to lunch with them, and then after that it was just we clicked, and they've been great, and it's really like I would say a family. Like, I know everyone says that, but I genuinely, like, there's been stuff that's happened where I've just needed support, and just all of the girls, no one's hesitated just to wrap their arms around me and love me for who I am, and I've loved it.
Ashton has an Osmond smile that just lights up a room, and she doesn't smile a whole lot on the court because she's all business out there. And what leadership she has brought to this Union team since coming here for a graduate school year, majoring in business. And this is a young lady who hopes to be all business at the free throw line. Jalencia Williams has only been there once and missed today, and this place is like a morgue. And in and out. This again to make it a 3-possession game. You just hope, if you're a Union fan, that the Lady Bulldogs have just not had the air go out of the tire, and she gets it. It's a 70-63 game. Because once they had that 17-point lead, this Central Missouri team just continued to chip away, slowly almost stolen. 18 on the shot clock for the Jennies. Nelson and Collier playing with 4 fouls. And this is Collier. They got to hurry. 6 on the shot clock. Collier's going to try to take it with a fall away. Yep. It's down to 5 at 70-65. 2-possession game. Union again has to be very patient, not get in a major hurry, and not make bad. That one was a dangerous situation that Union saved. Baker, yes! What a time for her to hit a 3. 20 points for Ashton Baker. That was big for Union, 73-65. Turnaround. Bank shot is not there, and Williams the rebound. That's her 9th board, and that was a big one. We're under 4 minutes. Baker, the experience in the backcourt, trying to keep everybody calm. Lob into Williams. And against the defenders, gets the bank. Collier again playing with the 4 fouls, had to be extraordinarily careful, and now Union is back to a 10-point lead at 75-65. And we're going to keep it right here as Coach Sliffer calls a timeout. And Union up 75-65. Let me run down what the totals are. Lady Bulldogs back up to 50% from the floor. And that last 3-pointer by Ashton Baker makes it a 42% afternoon for the Lady Bulldogs behind the arc. 70% from the free throw line. And Union the edge in rebounding, which is so huge, 27-24. Central Missouri is almost matching them all the way. 49% from the floor, 41% in three-pointers, 89% from the free throw line. A big thing, though, has been points off turnovers. It's kept this game closer in the second half. Union's picked up 16 points off of Central's turnovers, and the Jennies have picked up 14 off the Lady Bulldogs' turnovers. Union's 12 turnovers in the game, 17 for Central Missouri, and that's been huge because that's a little bit of an uncharacteristic total for them. Now let's take a look here also at our scoring. Baker with 20 points, 12 for Dillard, and 10 for Augustine, and 11 for Williams. And for Central Missouri, it's Littrell with 22, Nyjah Collier with 20, Beauvard with 12. Here go the Jennies, working around the perimeter. And the three is not there. For a big three, yes! Nelson connects, gives her 12. Here goes Baker. Working around the perimeter. Here's Lucas. And the left-hand layup is not there as Baker goes to the deck. Here goes Central Missouri. Wide open underneath. The layup is there, and the lead is 5 with 2:22 remaining. That's Littrell connecting. She has 24. She is the game leader. Baker taking her time. You hear Mark Campbell's instructions below us. And the high lob into Williams is not there. That is a big, big turnover for Union. Open for the three. Yes! Bovaird has cut it to a 2-point game at 75-73. And Mark Campbell calls timeout with 1:46 remaining. We'll keep it right here. And this has been a flurry on the part, and you can see how loose and how absolutely calm this Jenny's team is. And you see smiles on their faces. 75-73, 1:46 remaining. And this is a team that was down early in the third quarter, 47-30. And they have rallied to outscore Union since that point, 43-28. It's been a complete turnaround, and you had to expect that. I must tell you that one of the legendary coaches, his name is on this court, David Blackstock, used to say, as you see, the president and first lady of Union University, Dub and Susie Oliver, that the good teams will make a run, the great teams will make several runs. And sometimes the great teams will be behind the entire game and just catch you at the end. And it doesn't matter if you lead for 5 seconds in a game. If it's there when the clock says 000, you win. And Union has carried this about 98% of this game as far as the lead is concerned. And now it is protecting this 2-point margin. Sadie Nee is back in for the Lady Bulldogs. You got a strong backcourt in there. And here goes Lucas trying to go right through everybody, and it does not go, and the rebound coming off to Bovaird. Watch the effort to go to the inside. Collier is back out in the paint, and she's going right. The high three is short, but they get the offensive board. Baker goes to the deck with it. Collier picks it up. And timeout Central Missouri with 1:08 remaining. They will have possession of the basketball. Now, a few things that we'll just run down for you. If there is a jump ball, alternate possession goes to Union at this stage of the game. Here's where the foul situation stands. You've got 4 fouls on Nelson, 4 fouls on Collier. For Union, and looking down our ledger right here, you've got several players with 2 fouls, but none with 3. But Nelson, and you got to believe that particular Collier is going to probably take a risk defensively down the stretch here if this Central Missouri team manages to take the lead or tie it. We had every reason to believe it was going to come down to this with 68 seconds remaining. To toss it in is Bovaird. Here goes Charlie, and she gets it in. 18 on the shot clock. Big possession for both teams. And trying to go on the inside, the layup is there, and Nelson picks it up. Nelson with 14, and we are tied at 75. Under 1 minute remaining. It is high drama. Don't go to the refrigerator. And timeout Mark Campbell with 16 remaining on the shot clock. Woo! This is one of those that you just cannot get comfortable with a 17-point lead as Union had early in the third quarter. You just cannot get comfortable, and you've got to be prepared for situations like this because you're playing one of the nation's elite teams in Division II college basketball in Central Missouri. Well coached, absolutely outstanding in every phase of the game, and it just simply sometimes all comes together late. It has happened the other way around for Union in the past, where they have made dramatic rallies and probably won a game that they shouldn't have. But now with 16 seconds on the clock, here we go. Knee. And Lucas on the inside with the layup. Shanique with 9. Defense is key for Union. And we'll see how they play it. Chance of defense all over the house. 26 seconds to go. It's Nelson who hit a 3 the last time. She almost lost it. Union will get. Yes, Union will. Now let's see what they say. One official was signaling jump ball, and it is Union's possession, alternate possession to Union. And Union's going to take timeout with 19.4 seconds remaining. And there's still a discussion down there on the floor. I think Central Missouri was trying to get a timeout called, but they didn't have clear possession of the ball. And you can see the coaches over there giving the officials a major discussion. It's not going to change. So now the big key is with 19.4 seconds remaining. The big key now is, does Central Missouri go to the intentional foul? And frankly, at this stage of the game, it would. They have committed 4 fouls in this quarter, so the next foul would put Union in the 2-shot bonus. And who would you foul in that case? Well, Williams is probably the iffiest free throw shooter on the club. So here we go. Let's see how Mark's going to play it. And the foul immediately, and it's going to be on Lucas to the free throw line. Shanique in the game has not been there. Collier will check back in, and Mark is making substitutions as well. Mark is playing everybody back on defense. Shanique will have 2 shots. This first one is huge. And we'll watch it with you. You got to be able to make those drop. This one is very important to protect against a 3-point shot. 78-75, timeout Central Missouri. Now, if you're going to a 3-point shooter on the basis of what we've seen today, Bovaird would be your choice. Now, Nelson is 2 out of 3. Collier 2 out of 4. Littrell 2 out of 5. But the one that has really put the most in the basket today would be Bovaird. So that would be who you would want to go to if you're going to go in for the 3. Now, here's the key. They don't really, if they can get the ball up the floor in 7 to 8 seconds and get a good 2-point shot, they don't necessarily have to have the 3 on this possession. Give Union an opportunity to toss it back in and get a foul or even possibility of a steal. The big key for the Lady Bulldogs in this case is if they go up for a 3, not to play such close defense that you could possibly give up a 4-point play if the ball goes in. Littrell 24 points on the day, Collier 20, 15, Bovaird 14 for Nelson. For Union, 5 players in double figures. 20, Ashton Baker. 12 for Dillard. 11 for Williams, 10 for Lucas and Augustine. And Samaria Thompson has contributed 9. We'll see how the Jennies play it. They'll bring it in from the right-hand side of the court. And Nelson trips. And that is not a foul that will send them to the free throw line, because that's only the second that Union is committed in this quarter. Lucas called for the trip. That is her third. Here to toss it in is Bovaird. Now, Mark's got a couple of other fouls to waste at this point. And now it's gotten quiet in the place again. All right, here we go. Mark has a couple of other fouls that he can waste. They're going to have to hurry here. Union's playing excellent defense, down to 7 seconds. And almost stolen, and it is. And there you go. That was excellent defense to prevent an open player. And then Emily Baird-Dunnigan came up with the steal and will go to the line for 2, and one of them will sew it up. What a defensive effort on the part of the Lady Bulldogs, and Emily Baird-Dunnigan will be at the line for 2. Any one of these will sew it up. They put a second, 1 3/10 seconds back on, so there's 2.5 seconds remaining. Got it. That will do it. 79-75. Beard short, and they're not going to be able to get one off. And it was a real barn burner down the stretch. Let no one make any mistake that this ball club from Central Missouri is one of the finest in the country, and you judge that largely on the fact that they did not quit and managed to come away from 17 points down and close this down to a 1-possession game late. Union with an excellent last 18 seconds of defense. So the Lady Bulldogs 2-1 on the season, and that sends Central Missouri to 3-3. But I got news for you: they're going to be major headaches to everybody they play this season. One of the best ball clubs that I've seen. They ran into a Union team that played a terrific defensive game today by forcing 19 turnovers on Central Missouri. That's not a characteristic thing for them. As you see the Lady Bulldogs in their post-game prayer, Union shot 49% from the floor, 42% from behind the arc, and 64% from the free throw line. That's got to get a little bit better. And then rebounding, they out-rebounded. Well, no, they didn't. I'm looking here. Late in the game, there were more aggressive attacks on the basket from Central Missouri, and so they actually won the rebounding race 29-27. And when it came to points off turnovers, it was almost an even-Steven game. 18-17, Union had the edge. But let me run down your scoring for the remainder of our telecast here. It was Ashton Baker with 20 points in the game, 8 of 13 from the floor, 3 of 3 from behind the arc, and a couple of them down the stretch came at critical times. She also had 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals in the game. It was 5 Lady Bulldogs in double figures, 12 for Bethany Dillard, 11 for Jalencia Williams, and Jalencia with 9 rebounds to go along with that. And then 10 for Shanique Lucas and for Bethany Augustine, who played herself a fine game this afternoon. And so Lady Bulldogs 5 in double figures for their 79. And then for Central Missouri, they had 4 players in double figures, and that's where they averaged during the season. Littrell, the leader, with 24. Collier with 20. She was hampered playing a long time down the stretch with 4 fouls, and she just could not be as aggressive defensively as obviously she would have liked. 20 points, though, on her day, 7 of 10 from the field. And then Bovaird with 15 points. She had 5 3-pointers in this game, and she was critical to the big comeback that was made by Central Missouri. And then it was Olivia Nelson who had herself a terrific second half with 14 points. She was a perfect 6 for 6 from the free throw line and 2 key 3-pointers that nearly brought Central Missouri all the way back in the game. But our choice for the player of the game, because of so many different things that she has in her categories today, is going to be our featured player of the week, and that's Ashton Baker. 20 points, 3 3-pointers, 8 of 13 from the floor, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists, 3 assists, and 2 steals. Just everything you'd want her to have in the game. Is terrific floor leader for the Lady Bulldogs, and that experience from her 4 years at Liberty really, really showed today. So, Lady Bulldogs in one that was, I can tell you, a memorable one for me, because we just saw one of the finest teams in the country here on this floor. 79-75. They managed to hold on after being up 17 early in the third quarter, 15 at halftime. And the Lady Bulldogs won it 79-75. Now, they will go in this coming week. They'll be making a journey to Springfield, Missouri, to take on Truman State on Tuesday night and Drury on Wednesday night. And you can hear those games during the course of Thanksgiving week. They'll be coming back home, and the girls who live close to here will get a couple of days to be able to go home and be with their families. And then our next telecast is going to be on Monday night, the 29th, as the Lady Bulldogs will host Brescia. And, of course, that's the fine school from Kentucky that they had some really interesting outings with during the course of the years that Brescia was part of the NAIA tournament here. Union was as well. And, of course, as a Division II school now, they don't meet as often as they did in the past. So that's when we'll be back on television again on Monday, the 29th. I invite all of you who are in the Jackson area to join me tonight for Steve Beverly's TV Classics. It's our 300th edition of TV Classics in our 11 years that we have been on E+ TV6, and we will be on your set at 7 o'clock tonight, and we have some of the all-time greats. So that about wraps it up from here. A fantastic game between two of the nation's best, Union defeating Central Missouri 79-75. And our executive producer of Worthy Road Studio Sports is Paul Schultze, and he also was our ever-cool, ever-present director. And our camera operators today, Billy Bolin, Will Mingledorf, and Christopher Reasons. I'm Steve Beverly, and until we're with you on the 29th, so long from the great hub city of West Tennessee.